Hello and welcome to Stella Talk Show. I'm your host, Stella Ram. And today we have a truly special episode dedicated to World Autism Awareness Month. This episode is deeply personal to me because my own son was diagnosed with autism when he was just 3.5 years old. He is now 6 and thriving. As a mother, I've experienced the challenges, triumphs, and everything in between. I know firsthand how important awareness, resources, and community support are for families navigating this journey. That's why I'm incredibly excited to welcome a remarkable guest who has dedicated her life to supporting families and individuals with autism. She's the president of Waves of Changes for Autism in Vaughan, a non-profit organization committed to making a meaningful impact in the autism community. Please join me in welcoming Ellen Contardi to the show. Hi, Ellen.
Hi, Stella. I want to just begin by saying thank you very much for inviting me to join you on this platform. It's critical when we have community people that, champions like yourself that want to spread the word about our organization, about autism, bringing awareness. That's incredible. So thank you very much for the opportunity.
You're most welcome. It's my pleasure. And it's an honor to have you as well because I understand the amazing work that you and Waves of Autism has done. Yeah. So it's definitely an honor to have you as well.
Thank you.
So let's dive deep in. Yeah. I wanted to ask you, how did this all started? And, what made you decide to join this force?
In 2016, an opportunity presented itself to me, and I decided to run with it. And I felt that it was my duty to give back in somehow, some way.
Yes.
So I thought, okay, let's go with this. And here we are. We're in our 10th year, and I haven't looked back. It's been so rewarding, and we've accomplished so much in the past 9 years, and I'm very excited about this next year ahead.
That's amazing. Yeah. That's amazing. Tell me a little bit about the work that you do with this nonprofit organization.
Well, I have to be, very transparent here. I could not do the work I do without the team. Our team is incredible. I have, a board and team members that work very passionately and are very dedicated to helping these families in Vaughan with autism.
That's amazing.
Yes, we have a great team. We're all volunteer-led. Like no one is compensated in this organization. So it really, I'm very, very fortunate to work with these individuals, and we've come such a long way, in the past 9 years, we've raised over $2 million. We funded over 600 eligible applications.
That's amazing.
These monies go towards these specialized therapies and treatments and communication devices. And I know, Stella, you have a very deep interest in this as a parent, and you know the challenges that are faced.
I do.
And you can appreciate, any help. And these families are so thankful, and, they can't express enough how important it is for them to have some sort of help.
That is true. Yeah. That is true. Yeah. Coming strong together as a community is what matters the most. Yes. So I definitely see that. I have to ask, when it comes to awareness and progress in there, over the years there has been, a lot of research and a lot of, talk around about, what autism is, and what the part that it has in the community that we live in today. What's your thoughts on how far we have come in progress about the awareness that we have for autism, and how far do you think that we should be working more towards building
Well, I think we have much more work to be done. I believe that, but I have to say that in Vaughan, where we work, I can definitely say that the impact is powerful. We have made a great impact, and I think that moving forward, we need to continue this work. It has become a little more, well, perhaps not a little, but it has become more aware, you know. I think that perhaps, you know, like we have 3 events. So at these events, we showcase these children. And I think that helps to build awareness. That helps to, you know, showcase these individuals and to the community that they are very capable of things, and that it's important to, you know, to continue that work.
Yes.
And I think that we've come a long way. You know, we in our community here, I think that people, you know, autism now is at the forefront. I think that we have really made a name for building awareness.
Yes.
We have flag raisings, which is coming up April 2nd. So we, you know, raise the flag at the city of Vaughan here. Our mayor is a very strong supporter of Waves of Change. His predecessor is also a very strong, you know, was a strong supporter. They both sit on our board as honorary chairs. So I think that with the city of Vaughan and the councillors and all the dignitaries, I think they're very aware of the work we're doing.
Yes.
And I think that helps to build
a stronger community around that.
Yes,
Most
and
definitely.
I think that people are, you know, now they've, you know, oh yes, Waves of Change. I've heard of, you know, the organization and what they do.
Yeah, that's amazing. You know, when I heard about the organization myself, I was very impressed with the work that you were doing, because building that awareness, when we talk about autism, we always think of the
negativity, but
exactly.
there's so much positive. Like these children are brilliant. They've mastered certain crafts and they work so hard at it. And I think that that's where our job is to
empower them.
Yes, you know, and showcase that.
Exactly.
You know, it's not a disability; it's an ability, and they're wonderful. We have ambassadors that, you know, are master of ceremonies. Some are artists. Some are singers. Like it's such a plethora of different crafts that they have that is just so wonderful to see, and our community loves seeing them at every opportunity. You know?
Yes. Yeah. I have to share, like, you know, when my son was first diagnosed, he was nonverbal. He was 3.5 years old, such a small guy. But he has evolved, I have to say. He has grown up to be this very handsome, very cute individual, but he's no longer identified as nonverbal. He does speak.
He does speak?
Yeah, and
it's wonderful.
And the things that he surprises with me, Ellen, like, you know, he plays the piano. He's a self-taught pianist. And the way that he's very impressed with the fonts and languages. So he surprises me every day. So when you tell me the creativity that they bring, and, you know, they're not disabled, they are differently able, and their uniqueness is, and that's a strength to the community that we definitely need to celebrate.
Absolutely. You know, every child learns at their own pace, and I think that giving them the tools to do that, they will reach their God-given potential.
That is 100% true. Yeah, that's amazing.
One of our musicians that sings at our events, he was nonverbal. His mom told me he was nonverbal till 5. He came down the stairs one day and he started singing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's like, what a joy for that mom to hear that voice, and he's singing, and now he's you know, performing at different events all over the city of Vaughan, and he's amazing, you know.
That's very impressive. And, you know, bless him and bless the family, because it's for someone that, you know, who is not very familiar with the journeys his families take, it may be another day for them. But for those families, those parents who has been waiting to hear that first word or the voice, that's a milestone.
It is.
And to hear that he hasn't been, and then all of a sudden one day he started.
Exactly.
That's inspiring.
And that's so heartwarming, you know, like, and to know that, you know, we fund evidence-based therapies. So, you know, occupational therapy, we take for granted, you know, we put on our shoes, tie them up, we zip up our jacket, and away we go. These children have to learn these skills, and that moment that they learned how to do their jacket up on their own is like so exciting, and it's just
Yes.
wonderful. It needs to be celebrated, you know. Like, I think
when you're telling this, like, you know, I can see my son doing. No, it
and
is
he'll
a
reach all
milestone.
those milestones. We just have to be patient, and we need to give them the opportunities and the tools, and they will.
That's true. That's true.
I believe that.
Most definitely. These success stories is what keeps us inspired for looking forward for tomorrow.
And it gives parents like yourself hope. We need to give hope to families. It's very life with autism is difficult.
It is.
And not everybody is at certain levels. You know, some may be a little more challenged, but we try to give, you know, these families hope and know that they have us here for them to support them, and you know, hopefully their child will reach that point.
Definitely.
As well, you know?
That is a very inspiring thing that you're doing there with the community that you have built with Waves of Changes for Autism. Giving back to those families for what it's needed most to bring that child to where that child needs to be. That is very important, and that is very empowering in other way.
Yes.
So that I'm very happy to see that your community that is doing that.
And I can speak for the whole team. They all are on the same page. They all want to do what's best for these children. They work so passionately, and they're so driven. You know, at every turn, every event, they're right there, you know, right on helping, and
most definitely. And I want to also touch on, like, you know, in history we have come a long way in understanding autism as a spectrum, you know, and how it is being diagnosed, you know, and there's a lot of research that was put into it as well. And I know that you have collaborated as a community society with research in certain extents. Can you tell me a little bit about, you know, what are the recent, you know, evolutions around that, and you know what he has come to?
Clinically, I can't speak to autism itself, but I know that we were invited down to the Peter Gilgert Research Center, where they do all the research for autism, and they have made great strides, you know, from what I've been told through the doctors there, Dr. Scher, Dr. Wintle. They were very, you know, happy to share all their progress, and I think that you know, parents can, you know, reach out and you know, explore that more. As an organization, what we do in particular is we fund families. So we're basically doing fundraisers to help pay for these specialized therapies and treatments. So I can't speak on behalf of, you know, the research center, what they've, you know, found, what they, you know, what their
evolutions.
You know, I can't speak to that, but I think that parents, you know, should be able to contact them. And I know one of our team members, he actually joined one of their groups where they were doing trials. So he was able to join the group with his child, and they, you know, did trial basis with this child, and they can explore, you know, families can explore that avenue with them. You know, there are different
options there.
Yeah, programs with the research center down at, it's affiliated with Sick Kids. So, yeah, they can contact them and speak to them about that.
That's amazing.
For sure.
That's amazing. You know, it's very like inspiring to learn about the growth that the children are receiving from continuous research, and also the therapies with early intervention. So definitely the parents should be paying more attention there and see what they can achieve.
I think so, and I also believe that that's why we do early intervention. We fund children under the age of 13.
Nice. Okay.
And you know, having spoken to these professionals, they felt that early intervention is key.
Yes.
So, you know, evidence-based therapies again, ABA, IBI, occupational therapy, those kind of things. Early is key for, you know, a success for these children.
Success for this, yeah, most definitely. That's why they say, like, the moment that, you know, you have that doubt in your mind, it's best to speak to your family doctor or a specialist to see, hey, what's this is, so you can get that early intervention and help the child as much as you can.
As soon as you can.
As soon as you can for that growth.
I believe that.
Yeah, no, me too, most definitely.
And like you said, probably your family doctor, your pediatrician is your first contact, and I think that would be your best contact. They can direct you to where you need to.
Most definitely. I want to also touch a little bit of, like, you know, as a parent myself too, raising a child with autism is not easy, especially like if you're not aware about this whole new world of autism, and when you getting that diagnosis, you're starting to learn with your child. I myself, as a parent, I was in denial for years, but now
that's not uncommon.
Exactly. So you know, you have been in this community for a long time with your team. What have you seen with families? What are their biggest struggles, and what are they doing to overcome, and, you know, how are they thriving today?
Like you said, some are in denial. Some don't want to talk about it. Some, but I think, you know, Stella, I think that you'll do more justice to your child if you can overcome that and try to get them the help they need, and try to explore different things for these children. What I hear from these families is they just want to help their child whatever way they can.
Yes.
Financially, it's a burden. They're very expensive, these therapies, and I think that these families need help with that. So that's what we do as an organization, is we help them financially to offset their costs. Some families have 2 or 3 children on the spectrum. So that's, you know, aside from trying to put food on the table, paying the mortgage or rent, and then therapies, it's overwhelming.
Yes.
Parents lose sight. It becomes very hard.
Yes.
It's a struggle. I get it. And this is what we try to do.
Yes.
Just help in any capacity. It might be just a small capacity. It could be 10 sessions of speech therapy. But whatever we can do for them, that's what we need to do. And that's what the parents you know, have expressed, the thankfulness that they can now continue with their programs with their children. You know, like that. I think that's important. You know, I understand the challenges that these families, we read about them. They send us these applications because they have to apply for funding. And one of our executive members, Leah, she works with sick kids and with the school board. And she is so talented, and she looks at these children, and she's like, she evaluates each and every application. She you know, some years something comes up like a car seat, something we've never done before.
Yes.
It was a safety issue for this family. So she brings it to the board, and she says, listen, you know, we haven't funded a car seat for this child, but this mom is beside herself because she can't take this child anywhere because he's jumping in and out of seats. So safety first. So she reevaluates everything yearly. She looks at every detail, makes sure that she's, you know, helping each and every child the best we can. You know, she's so we're so blessed to have her.
That's amazing.
Honestly, she's wonderful. She's been with you know, sick kids over 33 years, and she's got so much talent and information that she can bring back to us as a, you know, a charity. That we're very fortunate to have her on the team.
Most definitely. And you know, when you talk about the car seat, like, and I'm thinking, even my son, like, you know, he's very into electronics. He's very fascinated. You know, I don't know to do half of things here, but he does. At 6 years old,
aren't they incredible?
They are incredible. But the fun part is, you know, like, they have their moments too. My son took his iPad to bath time a couple of times. So, like, you know, so that is an additional cost.
Yes.
Because,
you know, and every child.
Yes.
It's not just a child on the spectrum. They all have their meltdowns. They all have their moments where they're, that's not uncommon,
So for families that, that is, having those kids, and especially for an example, my son, he is very connected to his iPad. He likes it. He plays a lot of educational games. He learns from it a lot. So the moment it got water damage, and for a couple of days he didn't have it, he was not happy. So for an average family, a middle class family, replacing that overnight in a couple of days can be a burden.
It's costly.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so
costly.
I'm very fortunate to see that you as a community has created this for families who are bringing up kids with autism, because it is not an easy sailing for anybody, right?
No.
The surprises keep surprising us on a daily basis.
Yeah.
There are highs and lows. So any support is big support for these families. So it's amazing what you
and
your
that's
team
I
is
think
doing.
how the team looks at. We do the best we can. We have not left any child behind since we started.
Yes.
So we have been so fortunate in our community, which is an overwhelmingly generous community, that they have supported us so that we can then turn around and support each and every eligible application that has crossed our table.
Yes.
So for that we are so grateful, because that would be a sad day when we can't help each child.
That's true.
So we just keep pressing forward and trying to do the best we can to help these children.
Yeah.
And the community understands that.
Yeah.
They see that, and they know, and it speaks to the need.
Yes.
Our success speaks to the need.
Yeah,
that
that's
in this
amazing.
community. So I think that everyone truly believes that there is a need for this, and they come out and they fully support.
That's amazing. That's beautiful.
Yeah,
Ellen. Yeah.
it is. We've been blessed in a very, very generous community.
Yeah. And I also want to, when it comes to society, creating more inclusiveness for these children growing up, especially if you go to the playground in the evening to play with the other kids, there are a lot of kids, and sometimes for a kid with autism that can be a little bit overwhelming. So making awareness among other kids and among other parents, among other society members, what do you think? What are your thoughts around that? Do you think that's important to make this more inclusive?
Absolutely. I think, that's the whole premise of our charity, is to be, inclusive and to welcome all, children, and no matter what their learning ability is. And I think that, in this city of Vaughan, that is a very big mandate as well. Inclusivity is something that they champion, and they do very well.
That's
so
amazing.
I think that I think that that's very important, and I think that Vaughan has done a very good job with making sure that everyone is included, everyone is welcome, no matter, any gender, everything is equal for everyone.
Yeah.
That's what I've seen in Vaughan.
That's true. I know we already talked about therapies that is involved with autism, and the cost involved with autism, and how you are helping families. Can you talk a little bit more about that with the?
Well, what our charity does is once we raise the funds, through our three main events, we have a Sip and Savor, which is a ladies' event. We have a golf tournament.
Okay.
And then we have our gala in September.
Every year.
And through these three events, all the money's raised. Because no one is compensated on this charity, all money's after, expenses. Obviously, when you have a gala, there's expenses that go with that. All money's raised goes towards the cause. And I'm very proud to say that we are amongst the 1%, one of the charities that gives back more than 60% to the actual cause.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah.
So I'm very pleased with that. And then what the families do is we have an application process, and it opens in June and it closes in the end of September. And families go online. Now with our new website and updates through the Red Cross grants that we were offered last year, we now have an online process that parents can go on, apply for funding, download all their information, and then they're vetted through someone like Leah, which is on our team, and they now in turn have to, they'll get a pre-approval letter from us, and then they have to show us that they paid for their service. So it's not like we just give money out. So it's almost like a reimbursement to the therapies that they've already had for their child. So we reimburse them the eligible amount for that year. And every year it changes depending on our fundraising dollars. So last year in particular, we had 136 eligible applications, and each family was awarded $1,900. So in the grand scheme of things, perhaps that doesn't sound like a lot, but every little bit helps, and that
every
goes towards, and you know what the costs are because you're a parent. This is very helpful.
It is.
And that's what we get from families. They are so happy and so thankful that we can offer them this money so that they can encourage that. Now that encourages them to go out and purchase another 10 special therapies programs or for their child.
Yeah, no, that's very impressive what you're doing there, Ellen, with your team, because as a realtor myself, yes, I am an autism mom as well, but I do work very closely with families who has kids with special needs and also on the spectrum of autism. And the challenges they go through to get the support as early as they can for these children. I have seen families actually sell their home and use their equity towards purely therapy for their kids. I have seen some people who actually take their life savings out to make sure that they give the support when it's needed for a better future for their kids. And sometimes even relocating because where they are is more expensive, so they want to now budget things down so they can contribute towards the therapies the child needs the most.
And that that's wonderful because what else should we be doing? We should be giving these children the best possible help that they can get. I've heard the same thing, Stella. Some families have mentioned that they've had to sell their house, move in with their parents, or like you said, relocate, having to cash out certain funds and stuff. It's difficult. It's really difficult. And I feel for all these families because life is hard as it is. And then add a special needs child on top of that. This is a very challenging time we're facing, in this world. So I can appreciate the struggle from these families.
So whatever that you're doing, in a large scale, as you mentioned, it may sound small, but that every dollar towards that, early intervention for those kids to thrive in their life, it's massive. It's massive impact that you're building in those families.
And that's what we get, the feedback from these families, is they're just so thankful that they can continue these programs for their child.
Yes, most definitely. Because once you're in therapy, it's important to continue it. So you need to financially, as a parent, you need to financially plan it long term, not hey, I'll send them for 3 months and I'll figure it out, because
autism is lifelong.
Exactly.
There's adults that are coming out now saying that they are on the spectrum. So, it's a lifelong
journey,
commitment and journey to these children. So, I understand.
Yeah, no. So, the waves of changes for autism, actively supporting these families, that is huge. And I know that you're inclusively in one. Are you, in the future, are you thinking or maybe exploring of expanding, or are you partnering with any other non-profit outside one to expand?
Wouldn't that be wonderful in a perfect world? We get asked all the time if we could open up different chapters. We don't have the manpower right now. And I think that the group of people that are on this team, we all feel very passionate about helping our community.
Yes.
And that's not to say we wouldn't want to help other communities. It's just we don't have the funds or the manpower. It does take a lot. We would love to have someone come up and say, let's say from Richmond Hill, we want to start up a new chapter, you know, like Waves of Changes, we'll be there every step of the way to help them. Every step of the way. It's just,
yes,
I don't have enough hours in the day.
I wish you do.
I wish we could.
Yeah.
You know, I really do.
Yeah.
But I think it's important that every community should have something like Waves of Change.
Yeah.
That they can, reach out to and get some help for their child, because I think that's important. That's what makes a community whole. That's what makes Vaughan whole. We're such a strong community here in Vaughan because of that.
Yes.
I think that everybody working together is what makes this community whole.
That's amazing. That's beautiful, Elan.
Yeah.
Because coming together as a community to support back the families who needs the most is very beautiful and very empowering.
I think so too.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. Lastly, I'm going to ask you, what's one powerful message you'd like to share with the families navigating autism and the border community on how we can collectively uplift and empower those impacted by autism?
You know, I think, again, just continuing this work, continuing building awareness to the cause. The community spirit, I think, is powerful. And I think that we just have to stay on track and do the best we can for these children, for autism. And I think that these children will benefit. And moving forward, I hope we can help more and more families each and every year and, make an impact on a child's life. There's nothing more rewarding than making an impact on a child or a family's life. Like, this is, humanity at its best. And I think that that's what we need to do as human beings. We have to make a choice to help these families and children. Like, there's a lot of deserving causes. We're with autism and we stick with autism, and we just do the best we can to empower these children. We give them platforms to be able to showcase their ability at all our events. I think that's key. Just keep doing all these important things, and I think that these children will benefit, and each child coming up, gets, diagnosed. These families know that we're here for them, and we can help them.
Of course, that's beautiful. Celebrating autism. Yeah, it is definitely a gift from God. That's how I see it. As I mentioned before, like, I was in denial when my son got diagnosed,
which is not uncommon.
Yeah, but in the end, what I realized was he was given to me for a purpose, right? So I want to understand that purpose and celebrate that with him, and also, being a part of the community, creating awareness and building community and awareness, around that, to uplift each family and each individual who's going through the journey.
I agree with you. And, one thing I'm most proud of is, that we haven't left any child behind. But I also want to say that we, in 2022, received the nonprofit charity award at the Vaughan Chamber Business Awards.
That's amazing.
And that same year, we also received the Queen's Platinum Jubilee Pin from MP Francesco Silvera. And he, for the work that we've done in the community, helping children with autism. And I think those kinds of things are very important. And I think keeping up with initiatives, like we do our part here through, the city of Vaughan, our mayor and the council, and they all come out and we raise the flag on behalf of all these children. And I think it's wonderful. We have, empowerments, events like this where we can build awareness, through you, Stella, which is wonderful for us.
Yes.
McHappy Day is coming up, and the Garber family here in Vaughan has partnered with Waves of Changes. Not only does the money go to Ronald McDonald Charity Homes, but it goes to Waves of Changes, a certain percentage.
That's amazing.
So, he is they're an incredible family. And I think that these kinds of outreach in our community We just had a gentleman do a Support the Blazer campaign, where for 30 days he wore a blazer and the monies went to Waves of Changes.
Yes.
So these are empowering initiatives in the community that help build awareness.
Yes.
Which,
yeah, and also like, awareness and also giving back to families who need this the most.
Yes.
That is very beautiful.
So we have so many different meaningful community initiatives that help Waves of Change and these families in Vaughan.
Yes, that is beautiful, Ellen. Yeah. Before we conclude our conversation today, Ellen, which has been inspiring, I really appreciate all that you do. Do you want to take a moment to talk about your team and what their part has been throughout this journey and what you are envisioning for them going forward?
Absolutely. I couldn't do what I do without this team. I have an incredible group of individuals that I work alongside with, board members, executive team members, community committee members that are just as passionate and driven and focused that, they reaffirm what this charity does as an organization. We're here, it's a noble cause, and we all work together to help these children in Vaughan. And I'm so blessed with this team. We could not do the work we do. Everyone brings something to the table.
Amazing.
And it's, we're very fortunate. I am very fortunate to work with all these individuals. Yeah,
most definitely.
Yeah.
So, like you were mentioning that you have something that you want to acknowledge about your team. You want to?
Well, again, just their passion. They're equally as driven as myself. We're all on the same page, trying to help families. In April, there's volunteer recognition, and I would want to recognize each and every one, because each and every individual on our team brings something. They're all like-minded people who share this vision and want to help families in Vaughan. And I take my hat off to them every, time, volunteer recognition comes around, because we truly could not do this without this team.
Yeah,
they're incredible.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And I want to thank them, each and every one of them.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for taking the time today.
Stella,
and
thank you for this opportunity. I really appreciate that you could showcase the work that we do here in Vaughan. And it was wonderful chatting with you.
Yeah, same here. And inspiring other communities to build
the same kind of organization in their community, because I think that's how communities thrive and become empowered and also give hope to families. Because I think hope is very important.
Most definitely. Yeah. Celebrating autism with you was amazing, Ellen. Thank you so much again.
Thank you so much.
You're most welcome. Thank you so much, Ellen, for sharing your wisdom and powerful insights. Your dedication to empowering families with autism is truly inspiring. To our listeners, we encourage you to learn more about Waves of Changes for Autism in Vaughan and explore ways you can contribute to creating a more inclusive, supportive community. Subscribe and stay tuned for our next episode, where we dive deep into discussing financial support and advice for families with autism. Until next time, let's continue to spread awareness, uplift one another, and embrace the strength that lies within every family facing this journey. Stay strong, stay hopeful, and stay empowered. Thank you for spending your time with us on the Stella Talk Show. We hope you found value in today's episode and gained insights to help elevate your lifestyle. If you enjoyed the discussion, please like, subscribe, and share it with anyone who could benefit. It means the world to us. Until our next episode, stay inspired, and I'll see you soon on our next Stella Talk Show.